Hey guys, just a quick kind of video today on needles and the oiling of your bobbin case on your industrial machine. I've picked these two things to talk about today because you guys keep asking, so you ask and you shall receive. So we're going to start with my industrial machine. I use size 18 needles. These are Schmetz. I get them from... where do I get them from? I don't know, some website. I will tag you. I will put it in the description, of where I get them in Australia. I like Schmetz. I use Schmetz on my domestic as well because you can get domestic ones from Spotlight. And you can actually get the industrial size for clothing at Spotlight as well. I'm sure I've got a packet here somewhere. Right, so these are called Schmetz Round Shank in the size 14. So these are the ones that I get from Spotlight to make my clothes with. Everything else gets made with the thicker stuff, the thicker needles, sorry, not stuff. So bag making is size 18 for me and clothing is size 14. They're the only two needles that I possess for that machine. It's all I use. I either make clothes or I make bags. So I've got the two sizes that I need. And I always tend to buy more than one pack at a time because you should only do 9 hours of sewing on a needle, because by the end of 9 hours, the actual tip is quite blunt. You can actually Google it. You can see under a microscope the tip of needles after sewing, and they are quite blunt, which is why they break. And you should never wait until your needle breaks in your machine, because it can cause all kinds of problems that you don't want to deal with. It can, especially on domestics, if you've got a plastic bobbin case and things, it can wreck them, put them out. It's not worth it. So I always say, if you're going to do a full weekend of sewing, every weekend, change your needle. All right, enough about that. On my domestic machine, to make clothes, I use a size 80. So they work different numbers to these ones. So I just use a standard 80 for clothing on there. I use a sharp 70 for satin and really fine fabrics, because otherwise if you use a thicker needle or a different needle, you tend to get runs and ladders in your fabric. Bag making, I use Jeans 100 or the leather needles. I find them strong and sturdy and can get through vinyl on a domestic. I will be doing a domestic tutorial on making a bag. I have promised that. I will do it. I will get there. I've just got to get through my wholesale order, and then the videos are going to become way more intense. All right. My industrial cylinder arm machine takes even bigger needles. So the biggest size I can put in that is a size 22, which are ginormous. And their bobbins are ginormous, and just everything about them is huge. So I don't know if this is going to help, but that's how thick they are. No, it's not going to focus. They are very, very thick, very sharp. Insane. Oh no, they're just the 19s. Hold on. That is insanely thick. So that's the size I use in that machine. I mainly use that machine to do all vinyl bags or really big bags. It's also really, really good for top stitching around bucket bags and things. So I do love that machine. I've just got a servo motor for it, so we will be doing more tutorials on that as well. It also comes with insanely large bobbins, so I can show you this. This is the size of a domestic machine bobbin. I just dropped that. And then this is the size of my industrial, which looks the same, but I promise it fits more. And then this one is the one for my cylinder arm. So it's insanely huge. I can use up to a size M20 in thread on that machine, whereas my domestic can only take an M40, which in America is Tex 70. And the domestic machine can take an M60 in the upholstery weight from Gutermann. So Vardman Threads has just released that, or is about to. I'm not sure. They rang me today to tell me about it. So they are getting upholstery weight thread for domestic machines. So I'm going to buy some and do a video because I think it's going to be fun, and waste my money instead of yours, I guess. So, embroidery. I'm going to go over embroidery again when I do embroidery week, which again is coming up. And it will probably be maybe next week? I'd like to promise next week, but I can't promise anything at the moment. Everything's a little bit hectic here. You should see my room. We're facing this way for a reason. Anyway, so when doing embroidery, for vinyl, embroidering vinyl, I use a ballpoint needle. I use a size 80 because 80 is like a general standard kind of size. You use ballpoints instead of normal ones because vinyl has like a coating that isn't woven. So the ballpoint makes a big enough hole for when the thread goes through and then the needle still has to come back out. The hole's still big enough before it kind of closes over so that it won't snap your thread. So if you're using a normal needle trying to embroider the front of a bag and you find that it keeps snapping, switch to a ballpoint needle and I reckon all your problems will go away. For towels and clothing and just like normal kind of fabrics, I just use the embroidery needles in size 80. And if I'm doing finer fabrics like satin, I always switch to the smaller size, which is usually a 70. I usually, if I've got them handy or I'm near a shop and remember to buy them, I will get sharp 70 because the sharps are super fine on the end and so they won't create runs in your fabric because I find that satin gets ladders very, very easily. So sharps needles for satin, ballpoint needles for embroidery on vinyl, and just like a size 80 standard or an 80 embroidery for everything else. I think that's all of them. That's all I buy anyway. Feel free to comment with other things that you prefer to use on this video so that other people know. I only know what I use, so I can't obviously know everything. Anyway, let's go on to the bobbin of my machine. So the other reason you're here on the stand is so that I can show you this. So we're just going to push this down. All right. So this is my machine from the back, which you never see. It's got my sticker, which I love. I'm going to start adding more stickers, or I'm going to find someone who's really cool with graffiti and get this graffitied, because I just think that'd be awesome. All right. So when you push this back, for those that have never seen inside an industrial machine, it lives in an oil of well, an oil of well. I mean a well of oil. Sorry, it's been a big day. I've done lots of driving. So when that oil turns yellow, I change it out and go again. It's probably hasn't, I'll change it out at the end of the year. It'll get a Christmas present of new oil. So anyway, let me put this back down so you're not moving about. Don't want you to get motion sickness. All right, so these bits here, oil bits, and then this sucks the oil up to spin it through all the top. The bit that doesn't get the oil though is this piece over here. So this is the bobbin case. I took the bobbin out so that I can show you. So you can, hold on. Of course this is going to be stubborn. Let me just take that out of there. Now I'm getting our way. All right. So, I don't know, you can see that. Right. So see the bit that's spinning? Right here, there's like two pointy bits and a gap so you can get to a ridge underneath the machine. So the ridge, just there, I'm going to pick up the camera and move it in closer. Hold on. Okay, so there we go. So see how there's like the two pointy bits and then that little ridge in the center? That's where you want to put your oil. I can't currently do it because one hand's holding the machine so it doesn't fall over. And the other hand's holding the camera so that I could get close enough for you. But, let me see if I can maneuver this. Whoop. All right, so see how, if I twist the wheel, see how it moves? It's that little ridge bit that you want to put the oil on. And you only want to put 2 or 3 drops. Anything more than that will actually just drown the thread when you put it in. So my second suggestion is once you've put your oil on, just run without thread an empty piece or a scrap piece of fabric to pick up any of that oil and then put your bobbin back in so it doesn't soak it up in the thread. As for oiling domestic machines, I was friends with my guy that serviced my machines, and he told me there's nowhere that you can reach without pulling your machine apart that actually requires oil, because it's all up in like under the plastic part. The only place you can maybe put a drop of oil is under the bobbin case if you feel the need. But instead of doing the oiling, my suggestion would be is to clear out all the fluff and fabric dust, as that will help prolong the services or make the gap bigger between service A and service B. So I hope that was helpful. If you use something different, or if you have another tip, feel free to put it in the description, in the comments, or you can join my Facebook group and let people know in there. Yeah. So until tomorrow, guys, I will do another video then. Bye!